All right, I'm sorry that it's been, I skipped last week. It's been 2 weeks since my last podcast. A lot was going on. You know, pink eye, the girls got pink eye. Then I didn't get pink eye, but I got a little sick. And then Sarah went away for a weekend to run a marathon. I had the girls by myself. And then I went away to play poker. Sarah had the girls by herself. I just got back from the poker trip. That's why I look like this. I look like this on any day. Who am I kidding? Anyway, I don't have pink eye, although my eyes look red, but I feel a little sick, a little run down. I always do when I get home from poker, especially when I lose, when I did not have a successful 2-day poker trip. But listen, it's fun. Anything getting out of the house, right? When you have the kids, I mean, I love them to death, and I love spending time with them more than anything on the face of the earth. But, you know, you need a break. You need a break. So anything, people, my poker friends are like, what, you had to drive 6 hours to Borgata from Vermont all the way to New Jersey? I'm like, are you kidding? 6 hours in the car of just silence? And I don't listen to music or podcasts, please. I want silence, okay? I want to just drive and hear the road, you know what I'm saying? Just the peaceful silence of the world. So anyway, anything I do is like, it's a vacation. It's great. It's better when I win though. So it's kind of depressing. That's why I kind of let myself, I have a poker buddy who thinks it's hilarious when I said, yeah, I got like one shower a week, maybe every 2 weeks, once a week. He's like, come on, you shower every day. I'm like, I shower every day. What are you kidding me? Who has time to shower every day? And your body self-cleans itself anyway after a certain amount of time. He's like, but you don't smell. You don't stink. How can you not? I'm like, of course not. You know, I'll give myself a little man douche underarm bath, you know, if my armpits get a little stinky, but I just can't be getting in the shower and getting all wet and drying. It's just too much going on. But the reason I like to only shave once a week is because in a world that's so hard to control, especially with my kids, right? And victories are so few and far between, especially because I'm in show business. You know, you make a movie, you get a TV show, it's great, but then you don't get a job for 2-3 years. Most pitches for TV shows and movies are a no. It's just a lot of no. And now that I have, you know, Emmy is 5 and Story is 2.5, from them it's no. I used to ask, like with parents, would it be like, they tell me like they don't do what you tell them. I'm like, what are you talking about? You just raise them properly, and you make them understand there's consequences if they say no, which will be punishment, some kind of punishment, and then you raise them right and they do what you say, and then people just laughed at me. They laughed at me. I think they laughed at me. They thought I really thought that. I did. I mean, short of when they're an infant and they can't understand, they're just screaming on the plane or whatever. But once I can walk and talk, and Emmy, you know, they're geniuses. They just say no to me. No. Emmy will say no. Story just says, no. And of course I'm not going to punish them every time, because it's like no to, you know, yeah, I can't punish them for every no they give me. They'd be in constant punishment. So victories and yeses are so few and far between that I like to set up situations in my life where I know I'm going to get a win. And shaving is one of those things, right? 5 days of scruff, shave, clean shaven face. I win. I win at shaving. I win at clean face that day. Cannot lose. Cannot lose. I got to make sure there's no weird little spots I missed. Other than that, cannot lose. So I like to set little victories up like that, because I think it's no small thing psychologically. It's very significant, because if you set up little victories, then you start to feel what it's like to win. So I used to just wake up in the morning and go, yeah, he's awake. The fans are cheering. Yeah. I try to remember that, because if you're not going to have your own fan base cheer for you when you wake up, no one else is going to cheer for you. You know that like happy wife, happy life thing? Yes, dear, just say yes. I got to learn that better, because that's all. Please, again, I've talked a lot. We talk a lot about what frame of mind I'm in dictates to like 100% degree how I'm going to be able to parent my kids. Good or bad. So I want to set myself up to be in as good a psychological, mental, spiritual, physical place in my life personally, but so I can bring the best me to my parenting skills. So obviously my relationship with my wife is paramount, and speaks to how a lot to what kind of frame of mind I'm going to be in. Listen, I've done therapy. I'm in all kinds of spiritual programs for many, many years. I definitely work on myself. I consider my behavior. I try to make amends quickly if I make a mistake. I'm constantly looking through the paradigm of what's my fault in it. I mean, I fail all the time. But anyway, so I said to my wife, and she wanted to go to therapy. She's been in and out of therapy. So I said, great, go to therapy. I encourage you. I support you in that. So then, of course, she really likes her new therapist, and her homework is to write down everything she resents about me, my wife. I'm like, great. So she said, I have a list for you. I have a list for you of things that I resent. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know, just give me a heads up. How is it 2, 20? She said, well, I don't know, it's about 10. I said, oh, okay. In the last day, minute, like 10 in the last hour, 10 in the last 8 years we've been together? She said, no, since I came back from my marathon, which was like 10 days ago. I'm like, okay, I can live with that. I get scared that they're historical ones that she shoved down. She says she shoves things down because she doesn't want conflict and bring them up with me. And I say to her, look, the worst that'll happen is I might disagree with you, which I'm allowed to, but I'm not going to rage and have a crazy reaction. And she admits that. She just doesn't want conflict. So I'm like, please, bring stuff up, because I don't want to get screwed, like when and have you suddenly wake up one day and go, oh, I've had all this stuff that you annoy me with, and now I'm just going to leave you. Like, I need a chance to fix it. You know what I mean? But I don't think there's anything like that. She says there's nothing like that. So I encourage her to bring stuff up to me. Please. Because I'm very transparent. I bring stuff up right away. And try to work on it and get it better. So she sent me the list. She's like, are you sure you want me to send you the list? I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely send me the list. I'd like to see it. I'm glad you're able to voice this stuff. And even with a list, if that's the best way for you to do it, great. So I got the list. And here's the list. First one. This is what Sarah resents about me. Coming home to a completely wrecked playroom and Emmy's bedroom. Things all over the floor with pee on them. Because Boomer, our dog, will just pee on anything that's on the floor, other than her wee-wee pad. She does, to her defense, she's 14, she's old, Yorkie. She does pee on the wee-wee pad, but it's true. She'll pee any on the floor, but likes things that are on top of the floor, like a towel or a baby garment. So that's how the pee, what she means by that. Just makes so much more work for me, she says. No floors swept, couch covered in stuff. Okay, so when she means comes home, she means from the weekend, not from the day, like if she goes to work and comes home. Now let me give you a little backstory on this. Okay, we haven't talked about this list yet. We're going to talk about it tomorrow because we don't have time today. So I'm downloading to you all before I'm even talking to Sarah about it. So I try not to lawyer up on these because I would be like the best lawyer in the world. I mean, I'm good at, but not a bad lawyer. Like I deconstruct well, and I break things down. Listen, stuff is relevant to this resentment, right? It's like, okay. So she means when she comes home. So when I have the kids, it's hard to have the 2 kids for a weekend. I don't care if you have a babysitter part of them or not. The house explodes, right? We clean it, and in an hour it's exploded, let alone a 3-day weekend. So I feel like, hey, give me a little breadth, Give me a little leeway on the house being messed up. I love a relatively clean house. Here, I'm going to show you, okay? So for those of you listening, my house, there's no way one would argue that my house is not like just normal version of clean, right? Doing pretty well. Dishes over there. I'm going to put them in the dishwasher. You know, I just had lunch. I'm going to clean it up in a second. Okay? But basically speaking, I like a neat, clean house. Way more than Sarah did when I met her. When I met Sarah, God love my wife. She lived in a tiny little makeshift apartment in a basement of a house. The thing had to be a total of, and I kid you not, if there was 100 square feet in there, that's generous. This place, and again, now my wife has changed a lot, but this place was so cluttered that when we moved in together, I shit you not, I have a picture of it somewhere. We took out 16 industrial size black hefty bags, 16, filled with trash or things that she didn't need anymore, want to throw away. We had like one hefty bag of things that we actually moved and took to the apartment we were moving in together. 16 out of 17, 98% of what was in that apartment needed to be thrown away. Okay, now Sarah's changed a lot since then, and I'm no Felix Unger. Google it, kids. One of the odd couple who was anally clean. I'm not that guy, but I like, you know, obviously with taking a victory from the one shave a week. Anyway, but I like it. Like, listen, I grew up in a household. My mother, God bless her again, borderline clutterer, hoarder, definite clutterer, borderline hoarder. Not like Crazy from the TV show with dead animals under newspapers and stuff, but things on every surface, right? You can't look, there was no clean surface that didn't have piles of stuff on it. That makes me anxious. So Sarah has gotten way better. She now likes the house to be clean. She's almost gone boomerang the other way, as you can see from resentment number 1, right? So I cleaned up so that it looked basically like this when she got back. Now, the playroom, yes, was like, I'm going to show you. The playroom was definitely still, here it is. This is pretty good, right? That's the playroom, and then this is Emmy's bedroom. Okay, look at that. It's pretty good. Okay, so it was definitely messier than this when Sarah got home. Listen, I go to my friend's house and they have like spotless playrooms. I don't get it. They're like, oh, you just pick up after them. Tell them to pick up. I don't know, man. I don't know. God bless them. Not my kids or not my parenting. I don't know. My kids will not. So that's pretty clean. It was more than that when Sarah got back. It was messier than that when Sarah got back. Right? But this part of the house was clean. As clean as it is now. So I kind of resent her resentment. Right? To be honest with you, I kind of resent her resentment. I don't think it's fair. So that one I'm going to push back on her a little bit when we talk. Okay. So, resentment number 2. Eric's showing me the one corner he cleaned and wants praise. That's patently ridiculous. Okay. She is exaggerating, but she doesn't think she's exaggerating by much. I cleaned the whole massive living room and kitchen. Yes, I left the catastrophe in the playroom and the bedroom, but that's not just a corner. So that's ridiculous. I'm going to veto that resentment. Okay, third one. Eric getting Story, our 2.5-year-old, hooked on the computer, so much screen time. Okay, listen. Again, this is like damage control. Story's on it more than I wish she was. She's on it probably. She might watch it. She doesn't watch it in the morning at all. Emmy watches an hour in the morning, maybe half an hour in the morning of cartoons. And then I let them watch listen, this is not a dictatorship. That's another thing. Sarah's completely on board with all this. We were in a 50-50 household in terms of, we're pretty aligned on most parenting. The ones we're not aligned on, we compromise and we talk about it. So to say that I got her hooked and I let her watch, that's just not fair. So we let Story watch like half an hour after school before Sarah gets home. When I grew up, I would come home at 3:00 and watch Batman, The Wild Wild West. I forget what else, like till my mother got home from work for like 3 hours. And then we watched at dinner and after dinner. I watched 6 hours of TV a day my whole life, and I turned out fine. Much better than some screens. I'm not going to let them do video games and all that crazy stuff. Anyway, on the weekend sometimes, like if we just can't handle it, we need a break, we let them watch for 2 or 3 hours a movie. Frozen is on loop, you know, they'll watch Frozen or whatever. So, I'm sorry, honey, but I'm going to have to veto that one. I didn't get anyone hooked on anything. Eric using, okay, this one disturbs me, and Eric using phone while he's driving. Listen, no excuse for it. Can't do it. Shouldn't do it. I don't do it most of the time. I don't do it when the kids are in the car. I might do it when I'm alone in the car or when Sarah's in the car. I do it when we're like there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I get it. But I do it in like, I'm aware of things while I'm doing it. Like I'll be thousands of feet away from another car on the highway, or if it's a smaller road, I'll make sure no one else is around us, no cars, nothing. I don't take a quick look. Again, there's no excuse, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not here to lie. And you all are lying if you say that you lock that shit down and never look at it. It's very few of you that never, ever, ever do it. Now, it's terrible. It's the worst thing in the world. It's the worst thing that I do in the whole world. Okay? 100%. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to just put a moratorium on it. Unless I'm in the car, I'm just going to kill myself. No, but then I could kill someone else. Right? So I got to shut it down. Got to shut it down. Maple syrup is her next resentment. Maple syrup. I could drink that shit, and I do, out of a cup. Like I put it on yogurt. I'm talking about straight up Vermont. I live in Vermont. That's where maple syrup's from. Maple syrup, Vermont maple syrup, and it's spring now. It's like, right? So it's all fresh. So good. I'll put that on yogurt, but really, what am I doing? It's like, it's not on yogurt. I'm taking one little, and so Story's the same way. And Emmy, they'll scream, not enough maple syrup. And then if you give it to them pour it on, and even, you have to mix it up, although they don't like that. You mix it up in the yogurt so that they have to eat the yogurt, and they'll yell. They'll say, there's no maple syrup on here. I'll say, and cinnamon they put. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's in there. They're like, no, and they'll scream. They want to see it floating around in there so that they can. And Story, of course, the 2.5-year-old, she'll take her spoon, and she just finds the little pools of maple syrup and eats that up. I didn't get them hooked on maple syrup, okay? See, Sarah doesn't like maple syrup, so she's blaming me for the maple syrup. All right. What's next? Does not want to watch the entire Eras tour at one time. Okay, that's Taylor Swift. All the girls in my house love Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. I mean, she's on a loop for the last year in the car, in the house, everywhere. Sarah's obsessed with her, my wife. And I like her. I like her story. I like the whole deal. But I don't know. So it's a 3.5-hour concert movie. I've committed that I will watch 15 minutes at a time of it. Okay. Sarah, after we put the kids to bed, Sarah only is going to be awake for 20 minutes anyway. So I'll watch 15 minutes at a time of it. And then I got to watch other things, and she goes to bed anyway. So that's like a joke resentment. Eric not putting everything in the oatmeal at once. Okay, so Sumi. We put butter, salt, stevia, and cinnamon in the oatmeal for the girls, okay? I like the butter, salt, and cinnamon, but I don't want the stevia in there. I put bananas in mine to sweeten it. So I don't want to put it all in the same pot, because then mine's contaminated with the stevia I don't want in it. That's like a joke one. She doesn't care. Here's a serious one. When he's playing with Emmy and Story and they say stop or cry in a distressing way and he doesn't immediately stop. Instead, does whatever it is that I was doing anyway and then gaslights them and tells them that they like it. So disturbing. That's her resentment. So here's what I do. Here's what she's talking about. Like last night, Emmy, she loves roughhousing. Both of them. They love me twirling them all around and throwing them and spinning them. They do honestly love that. Emmy, they'll all come, Story, upside down, upside down, upside down. The little one saying, turn me upside down. And she wants anything Emmy does. Emmy's like, come on, throw me there, push me, throw me through the air. Emmy weighs like, 40 pounds. It's getting harder. I put my back out every time I do some gymnastic move with her. Story's tiny. After picking up Emmy, Story's like nothing. And she's tiny and weighs 20 pounds. So like the other day, so Emmy wants me to throw her into the cushions on the couch, right? Like throw her, she loves that. Over and over, throw her into the cushions, throw her on the cushions. So she happened to be standing there on the cushions, and I grabbed her and threw her in the cushions. It wasn't when we were in the middle of that game. It was like she was doing something else or watching TV. She suddenly starts crying. Daddy, you pushed me into I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like your favorite thing. That's all you, the only reason you like me to be in your life is to throw you in cushions. Because other than that, I'm the bad guy. I'm the guy that punishes you when you don't, mommy lets you walk all over. So as the person that throws you into cushions, that's what you love about me most. Anyway, so Sarah then gets really mad and thinks, so when I say that to her, Emmy, you normally love that. Sarah thinks I'm gaslighting her and making her think she likes it when not respecting that she's actually distressed and crying. Sarah would probably argue that she doesn't mean that fully. It's mainly when I keep doing it, if I'm tickling them. But you know, you have kids, right? Like it goes from laughing, ha ha ha, to stop, don't tickle me, stop. No, I'm serious. We have like when Emmy says I'm serious, that's like means we have to stop. And so I do. Like, are you joking, or are you serious and want me to stop tickling you? But you know, it's a fine line. The kids are laughing, crying. Not crying, but like, stop, yes, no, tickle. So I know what to say about that. I'm not gonna, I don't know. I guess I'll give her that. I'll stop more. I'll say, okay, if you say I'm serious, I'll shut it down and stop tickling you right then. Fine. If that's the worst I do today, then I'm in good shape. Okay, likes to blame me for things and say he's joking about it. So annoying. I do that. I blame her for stuff, but again, to my defense, 90% of the stuff that I joke with her about and blame her for, she did. I took the car in yesterday back to the Mazda dealership, okay, because there's like a hole. She's like, what's that noise? I hear a noise in the car. Like some flapping underneath. I'm like, okay. I get underneath. The like bedpan, dishpan, whatever it's called. Splash pan, splash pad, anti-splasher, something pan. It's a big plastic piece that stops debris from flying up there and hurting actual important parts of your car. Like some huge hole in it, jagged hole, and it's half, not really hanging off, a part of it's off, and it's flapping, right? Because she bottomed out. She hit something, like listening to her fucking podcast or whatever, like, you know, not paying attention. Our road is gnarly. It's like a half-mile steep Vermont dirt road. So it gets big ruts in it. I've bottomed out on it. You can bottom out on it. You can rip up the bottom of the car. She's popped tires, like going into the ridge, you know, off the ridge when it's frozen, and popped tires. So to her defense, it's a gnarly road, but still, that's why, even more so, why you got to watch out what you're doing. So I'll joke with her about, you know, you did something, and she'll get really mad. And it's like, okay, you did. I didn't bottom out. Trust me. I know this was her car. This isn't my little electric car. This is her Mazda that she drives 99% of the time. So the 1% of the time I drove, I didn't. If she came home and said, I suddenly hear something flapping, clearly she did it. So I'm sorry, honey, again. I mean, I cannot joke with you if that annoys you. I'm happy. See, that's what I mean. See, I'm compromising. And I want to help. So if it's like listen, honey, I really don't want you to joke with me about stuff that I do, then you can say that. But to say that don't joke with me about stuff that I didn't do and say I did it, well, and that too I won't joke about. See, that's an easy one. Good. See, Sarah, you got that one, you win. I won't do that anymore. And then what's last? Fox News. Okay, Fox News. This is we'll do a whole podcast on this, but the short version is, would you rather have your wife or lover or significant other, whoever that is for you, catch you jerking off or watching Fox News? Now, I know that there's a stupid third rail joke built into that, you know, or watch you jerking off to Fox News, but I'm not gonna go there.